Another day without postseason baseball. It still stings. It's going to sting. It's probably going to sting until the World Series is over. But nonetheless, the Red Sox are now in not rebuild mode, but they got to make a lot of decisions over the next few weeks. And on today's show, I'm going to predict what I think is going to happen to all of the players who are either eligible to be free agents or have, some sort of club mutual options at the end of the day. There are 8 players that we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on all 8 of them. But before we do that, thank you to each and every person that subscribed to the channel over the last 165 games. The growth has been incredible. We're up to 6,252 subs at the recording of this video. And our next goal, as you know, is always the next 1,000. 748 subscribers to get to 7,000 subscribers. My guarantee to you is we're going to be here every single day breaking down the biggest, the smallest, even the intermediate moves that the Red Sox make in both short form and long form content. When the Red Sox make a move, we make a video. So hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on any of the latest Red Sox news and rumors. Let's start with the players that are eligible to be free agents. They have no ties to the Red Sox. Their contracts are up. They are going to be free agents by the by the end of the World Series, and they are eligible to talk to other teams and go to other teams. Let's start with Justin Wilson. You brought him in this past offseason. Craig Breslow was really high on him, and he performed relatively well. 48 and a third innings, 3.35 ERA, 57 Ks, 22 walks, FIP at 2.95. The FIP is going to be very important in these conversations because, the Red Sox had a lot of errors, and so the FIP, I think, is going to be very important in these conversations. But he was in a really niche role. He was that kind of lefty reliever, kind of middle of the reliever pool kind of lefty, and I thought he did his job relatively well. So when we talk about Wilson, and this is my prediction for Wilson, when we talk about Wilson, I think Breslow is really high on him. Really likes what he brings to the table. Brings some consistency. I know the 3.35 ERA isn't great, but the FIP's 2.95. So you take away some of those errors, it's below 3. And I think if the price is right, which I think it will be, I don't think he's going to be cheap at all. I think Wilson might legitimately re-sign with the Red Sox. And I'd be okay with that because you do have to retool the bullpen a little bit. You are going to lose some arms in the bullpen. And Justin Wilson, like I said, he fit the role that he was brought into relatively nicely. So I actually think he might re-sign with the Red Sox in free agency. Let's talk about Rob Refsnyder, a mainstay, ultra utility player, the lefty killer, as we all like to call him. And he did what he usually does. Didn't play a lot of games, came off the bench, and when he did, he hit well. Like this past season, the 269 average, 838 OPS, 9 home runs, 30 RBIs, an OPS plus a 131. And again, this is in a UTIL role. This is in a doesn't play, maybe 1 or 2 games a week, kind of exclusively plays against left-handed starters. And, he does that role incredibly well. So, and I think that this one's a little obvious, when I make my prediction on where Refsnyder's going to end up. He's going to be a Red Sox legend. He's not going to get his number retired. It's not going to be anything like that, but he will go down as one of the, obscure Red Sox names that everyone remembers. Everyone talks about, hey, you remember when Rob Refsnyder was on this team? This ultra lefty mashing util outfielder? Like he's going to be remembered for a long time. And at the end of the day, he's kind of made it clear that he wants to be here. So my prediction is he's either going to re-sign or he's going to retire. He is getting a little older. He's threatened retirement in the past in terms of picking up options and things like that. So I think that it's pretty clear. He either wants to be in Boston or he's going to retire. So why not re-sign him? He's in the niche role like Justin Wilson. I would totally consider bringing him back, to be a veteran off the bench that just mashes lefty starters. You let me know, though. Would you bring back Rob Refsnyder? Type Y for yes, type N for no. He's not going to be expensive whatsoever, and I think that he's a very valuable piece to this Red Sox lineup, whether people want to talk about that or not. He didn't perform that well in the postseason, but again, he's not an everyday player. He's a 1-2 time a week player. So I would type my Y for yes, but you let me know. Y for yes and for no. Let's talk about Steven Matz. Brought him in the trade deadline. Didn't really have to give up much. And for the role that he played, he was fine. I don't think he ever had a incredibly predetermined role. He was kind of just a mop-up guy in some places. He had some high leverage situations, but with Boston, he wasn't bad. 21 and 2/3 innings pitched, 2.08 ERA. I mean, that's really great. 12 Ks, only 2 walks. FIP of 4.84 though. That's a pretty interesting kind of gap between ERA and FIP. So that's something to monitor. But he was your lone good deadline acquisition. Dustin May, we'll talk about him in a minute. Jordan Hicks wasn't on this team for the postseason. Kyle Harrison didn't throw a single pitch in the postseason. So I think he's going to sign elsewhere. I think he did enough to garner some sort of lucrative contract. And as another lefty reliever, I just don't think he's going to fit in the equation for the Red Sox next year. And, again, with him potentially getting a relatively lucrative contract, I just don't think Boston's going to be willing to spend that. So, he was your good loan acquisition. I don't think he ends up with Boston next year. Let's talk about Dustin May. You went tunnel vision on Joe Ryan at the deadline. That didn't happen. So you panic pivoted, gave away James Tibbs, who was 2024 first-round pick that you acquired in the Rafael Devers trade, and you got 28 1/3 innings with a 5.40 ERA. Ay caramba. 26 Ks, 13 walks, the FIP of 5.39. So his ERA of 5.40 was not because the defense was committing errors. His FIP of 5.39 was what it was. Let's call a spade. That was an incredibly horrible trade deadline pickup. And it means something when LA who had a bunch of pitching injuries, was willingly trying to get rid of him. That should have been a red flag, but it is what it is. My prediction, LOL. I mean, let's be real. Dustin May is not going to be on this team next year. I find it hard to believe many teams will give him a shot. I'm sure a team will. It's not going to be very lucrative for him because he just hasn't been that good, and you've also got injury concerns. He ended the season with an injury. I'm not going to say that it was Phantom IL. It definitely smelt like Phantom IL, though. So, LOL, not going to be on the team next year. It is what it is. All right, that's it for the players that are going to flat out be free agents. Get creative down below in the comments. Name a player you want the Red Sox to sign. It can be anyone in the free agent pool. Dylan Cease, Framber Valdez, Pete Alonso, Bo Bichette. Let me know down below in the comments section. I'm going to have a video coming out, later this week on my perfect offseason, and I'm going to have a few names that I'm looking for that I want the Red Sox to sign. But you get down below in the comments right now, and you let me know, who do you want the Red Sox to sign in free agency? All right, let's talk about players that have some sort of option or opt-out. That could be a club option. That could be a mutual option. That could be a player opt-out or player option. There's 4 of them. And let's start with the elephant in the room. Let's talk about Alex Bregman. We did a full video on him yesterday. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. I kind of already gave my thoughts over there, so I won't be as long form over here. But the stats on paper don't look bad. There is the big caveat that he missed months of the season with the injury that he suffered. And when he came back, he just never was the same. But at the beginning of the year, he was by far your best player on the entire team. He finished the season with a 2.73 average, an 8.21 OPS, 18 home runs, 62 RBIs, an OPS plus of 128. He's going to be one of the most highly sought-after free agents if he opts out in all of free agency. And my prediction is, and I think the prediction of everyone, Mark Feinstein's reported it, Jeff Passan's reported it, everyone under the sun has reported it, Bregman's absolutely going to opt out. I think that being a Boras client, that's a risk that I think Boras is willing to take. If he's not going to get more money than he got last offseason, he will still probably get at least the same amount of money, maybe not as much AAV, but maybe longer term. I do think he re-signs with Boston, though. Maybe I'm living in a fairyland, but I'm going to say now he does. He wants to be in Boston. He loves being a leader. Like, he loves Alex Cora. He loves the culture. I think he re-signs with Boston. Boston's going to have to pay up, though, and I don't know if they're going to be willing to do that, but my preliminary prediction is that Alex Bregman will opt out, but he will end up re-signing with Boston. I'm going to ask the question. I know this is a highly divisive question for a lot of you, but be honest and let me know. Does Alex Bregman re-sign with the Red Sox? Type S for sign if you think he does. Type P for pass if you think he does not. I think he does. We'll see how the next few months go, but you let me know in the comments down below. That rhymed. That was absolutely awesome. Trevor Story also talked about him in yesterday's video as well. I think this one's a little more cut and dry than Alex Bregman. And when I end up doing my superlatives, probably some point this week when I do some sort of recap on the season, Trevor Story's got a real shot at being the MVP of the entire season for the Red Sox. We talked about it yesterday. Trevor Story, since he signed his lucrative contract with the Red Sox, has been injured, highly injury prone, and has not been able to put together a full season. He did that this year. He put together a really good season, and he looked great. 263 average, 741 OPS, 25 home runs, 96 RBIs, a 104 OPS plus. And as you got closer to the postseason and then into the postseason, he was by far one of the best players in the entire lineup, one of the hottest players in the entire lineup. My prediction on Story. He has the ammo to opt out. He had a really good season. He posted. Other than the last month of the year, defensively, he was awesome. I think he ends up staying, though. That quote he had at the after the Red Sox were eliminated, he ended it by saying, "I came here to be here for a long time." I genuinely think he loves the culture. I think he loves Alex Cora. He loves all the players, and he loves being the leader in this clubhouse. He also has 2 years, $50 million left on his deal. That's a pretty good chunk of money. And with his injury concerns, I don't know if he's going to risk it. I think he's going to stay. I don't think he's going to opt out. I think he will be, if Bregman does not come out, he will be the clubhouse leader for the Red Sox next season. Lucas Giolito. This is another interesting one. He's got an opt-out. Interesting. It's a tale of two halves for Lucas Giolito. He started the season, The middle of the season, he was really good. Let's put this into perspective. He was coming off elbow surgery. Hadn't pitched in like over a year. He gave you 145 innings, a 3.41 ERA, 121 Ks, 56 walks, and a FIP of 4.17. But then he fell off at the end of the season. I think he tests free agency. I do think he opts out. I think that's I don't want to guarantee it, but I think that's close to a guarantee. He did enough this year to test free agency and potentially earn a lucrative contract, and I do think that happens. I think he signs somewhere else. I don't think the Red Sox are one, willing to spend big for him when they saw some of the regression at the end of the season, and two, you've got a bountiful amount of options next year. Let's not forget about Cutter Crawford, Richard Fitz, Hunter Dobbins, just to name 3 people that were injured that could be starting pitchers next year. Connolly Early, Peyton Tolley, Tyler Uberstein, like all of these other young guys as well. And then on top of that, I think you're going to trade for Joe Ryan or sign another like a 2A starting pitcher. So I just don't think there's going to be enough room. And I don't think they're going to want to spend a lot of money on Giolito when they saw the regression at the end of the season. So I think he tests free agency. I do think he opts out. I think he ends up signing elsewhere. Let's end with Liam Hendriks. Disappointing, man. This is one of the most disappointing people we're going to talk about because coming into the season, everyone was saying, oh my gosh, Liam Hendriks is going to be your closer. Like you signed Aroldis Chapman to be a middle of the bullpen high leverage arm, like a Justin Slayton or a Garrett Whitlock. And Liam Hendriks was going to be your closer. And then he pitched, and it wasn't great. 13 2/3 innings. That's not a lot of innings. 6.59 ERA, 12 K, 7 walks, That's a bad ratio. And a 5.04 FIP. And then on top of that, you had the drama. You had the injuries. He just had surgery again on his arm. And he just didn't play well. So I think the Sox let go of Hendriks. I do not think they pick up the option. I think he ends up in free agency. And I think there's like too many contributing factors here. Again, the injuries. He ended his season. He was legitimately hurt. It was not phantom IL. He had surgery a few weeks ago. And then the drama at the beginning of the season where he was talking about like his usage and how he wasn't being used well. And it's like, okay, well, you weren't playing well. They're not going to throw you if you're not playing well. You had all that drama. And then you just didn't play well. They've got enough quality arms in their bullpen already. And they just extended Aroldis Chapman. They are not going to bring Liam Hendriks back. I that's one of the ones that I can almost guarantee is that Hendriks is not going to be on the Red Sox next year. 8 players. We talked about them all. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And again, if you've not already, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow with another short and another long-form video as well. You're not going to want to miss it. A lot's going to happen this offseason. I can guarantee that. And when the Red Sox make a move, we make a video. So hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out. We'll see you tomorrow. And until next time, go Sox.